This webinar is being recorded. Hello and welcome everyone to our second of 4 Reston Sprint Tri training webinars with Sharon Adams, owner of Rising Sun Fitness.
Hi everyone, thanks for being here. We're going to go over some information on the swim for the triathlon tonight. So the swim segment of triathlons, especially for sprint distance and sometimes having a lot more beginner, new to triathlon athletes starting their triathlons with this community type race. A lot of times the swim is one of the a little bit more anxiety producing segments of the triathlon. So we're going to go through some information tonight. The swimming has so much. We could spend an hour, we could spend an entire day on the swim, we could have a weekend. So I'm going to try to get through as much information in 20 minutes as I can. So the things that we're going to go through tonight are the course that you'll be swimming, and it's the same as it has been in previous years if you've done previous Reston Sprint Triathlons, and otherwise we'll show you the course and how it will be laid out in the pool. Some beginner swim information. We'll go through some basics of stroke, and even if you're an experienced triathlete, it's always going back to the basics. And you know, in finding something to help focus on for maybe the next month of your swim training. I'll go through just some very basic drills, resources and some hints, and we'll also finish with just some information about Transition 1 T1 as it's called, and to get you going, to get you to know what's going on. So the course for the sprint triathlon in Reston. So you'll be walking into Lake Newport Pool. You'll see, as you see this diagram on the slide right here, there's the dotted line with arrows going along. That will be a human line with race morning. So there will be people that are lining up there. The athletes are lining up along that. So you'll be seeing people lining shoulder to shoulder. You'll be standing right next to people. You'll be you have your cap and goggles with you, and that's where everybody will be around the perimeter of the far end of the pool from the parking lot. The athletes enter the water in 5-second intervals. So there will be a big long line there, but it goes fast. And before you know it, your time is up and you get down and you get in and push off of the wall. So it goes fast, and you might even want to go to the pool and practice literally just walking up to the edge, getting in and pushing right off, just to kind of get your mindset in to a very quick start like that, because you don't start as everybody at once, ready, set, go type running race that you might be used to. Everybody starts on their own in 5-second intervals. So the course is designed as what's called a snake swim. So you go down, you're going down the lanes. You can see those solid arrows. You'll be going down the same direction. Everybody is going the same direction in the lane. That being said, there will be people passing. You might be passing people. There might be others passing people. You stay to the right unless you're being passed. If you need to pass, you go on the left of somebody. So that's kind of the protocol. When you get to the far end of the lane, you stay in that lane to finish that lap, you push off, and then you go under the lane line. You push off and go underwater, under the lane line, into the next lane. So you, and then you're swimming down, same direction. Everybody in that lane is going in the same direction again. So, and you make 8 laps through the pool. Each lap is a long course pool. So if you are swimming over the winter, most likely you are swimming not long course. Most likely you are swimming in a 25-meter or 25-yard pool. This pool, if you're not used to it, is long course, so it's set up as a 50-meter pool. So it's something that you do want to, if you have the opportunity to come the day before to get in the pool. Reston Association has allowed some time for the day before that will be open for people to be able to have the opportunity to come in to practice a long course swim if that is your only opportunity to get into a long course pool before the race. So I do recommend that. But and if you have further questions on any of these slides as we go through, please feel free to either write in or you can email me after the webinar tonight, and I do promise to get back to any questions that are sent my way. So we'll move along to the next slide here. And Mary, okay, there we go. So for beginning swimmers, we're starting off with beginning swimmers right here. How to begin? Go to the pool. So basically, this is so similar to what I was talking about with last week and just an introduction to triathlon. Go to the pool and see what you can do. Go to the pool, you get in, push off the wall, and go swim freestyle as far as you can. If you can make it to the other side of the pool, you can do what you know that's 25 meters or 25 yards. Make sure to find out the pool that you're swimming in, what it actually is. Ask a lifeguard or ask somebody at the front desk so you know if you're swimming in a yard pool that you're not quite going as far as the meters that you will be swimming race day. So find out what you can do. If you're a beginning swimmer, that is okay. If that's how you're starting, I began that way. I was not a swimmer growing up. When I began having a goal of doing triathlons, I started off swimming 25, and that is all I could do. So where do you go from there? If you can swim down the lap of the pool one way down, that's a 25. So you'll kind of get used to the lingo of that's a 25, down and back is a 50. You might start off with one of your workouts being doing repeats of 25 meters. So basically, that being said, you might go down and just try to swim to the other side. That's your 25. Take a 10, 15-second break there, push off, go again. 10 to 15-second break, push off. See if you can do that 4 times. If you can't, you know what you can do. And then find if there is a recovery stroke that works for you that is something that's a little bit easier for you to do physically. Maybe that's breaststroke. Maybe that's backstroke. And that way you still get a feel for the water, moving through the water, but it's in a little bit more of a recovery way physically. So that's always a good workout just to begin with. Another goal would be if you're swimming at least a minimum of 2 times per week, and I definitely, if you're beginning and trying to work your way up to being able to swim 400 meters, I definitely recommend getting to the pool 2 times a week minimum. Having one of those workouts during the week in the pool being what I call a long swim, even though it really might not be very long. But your goal is to make it the longest that you've ever swam. So if right now you could go tomorrow and all you can do is 25 meters, that's fine. Next week, you're gonna go and you're gonna see if you can do a 25 and push off the wall. And maybe you can't even make it the next lap, but maybe you can make it halfway down. And then the next week you build up to being able to do that 50. And you begin to progress by increasing by 25s. And that's by doing, and that's that your long swim is, your goal each week is doing that all freestyle. So that's a place to begin, getting 2 workouts in a week for beginning swimmers. So we're gonna move on to the next slide here. Okay, so the next slide, we're gonna be talking about three different parts of the stroke here. The entry and the catch phase is what I'm gonna call that, is the entry and the catch. The next is the pull, and the finish and recovery phase. We'll go over each of those. If you look at the pictures on your screen, I just kind of wanted to give you a visual of what those are. So the entry and the catch, if you look at the picture on the bottom left, the woman who has her left arm fully outstretched, she is at the end of her entry and she has not yet done the catch. So that's kind of like the arm entry that we're going to be talking about in a little bit. If you look at the picture on the top left of your screen, that is the middle phase. That's the pull phase of the stroke. And that picture right there is a really great picture of a pull. And I will talk about it a little bit later as to why. The picture on the right-hand side of the swimmer is in a finish or recovery phase. That's when the arm is out of the water. It is not doing any work. It's recovering until it comes into the next entry and catch phase. Okay, so let's go into those. The next slide is about the entry and the catch phase. So basically, what you're going to do for the entry is you're going to be thinking about a fingertip entry in front of the same side shoulder. So basically, the first thing that enters the water from your recovery is your fingertips. And your fingertips are like kind of making a hole in the water that your hand slides through, that your wrist and your forearm is going to slide through to. Mary, I don't know if you can hit the button again for my screen to show so that I can show just a quick visual of a video of my arm. Okay, so this is talking about the entry. So what I'm going to just show you a little bit here, and hopefully it can you can kind of see this. Your fingertips are going to be entering in front of the same side shoulder. So you make a hole in the water here where you just slide your arm through. So your entry goes all the way to a full arm extension. When you are in that full arm extension, what you want to watch out for is this arm crossing over. So you'll feel like it's just going straight sometimes, but it actually comes across and you don't want to cross over. You want your arm just straight out in front of your shoulder. You want your elbow to come into that fully extended position, which is a common mistake. A lot of times you feel like you're there, but if you see a video of yourself, you're really only here. You want to be not just fully extended in your elbow, but you also want to have your torso adding length to your reach. So you want to have a little bit of a twist through your torso, shoulder blades opening up, so you do a little bit of shoulder blade protraction to get that longest arm span that you can get. That is your entry and your reach. You go to full elbow extension. The catch is immediately after your full elbow extension, and this is how you grab the water to actually get power on your stroke. Basically, you're gonna find out what is, I'm gonna tell you what is called a high elbow, early vertical forearm. So from this extended horizontal position, rather than just cupping your hand and pulling back with just this surface area, you are gonna do a little bit of a shoulder lift, an elbow lift, and right away, you have this whole length from your elbow through your forearm through your palm. And now your paddle is that whole thing to do the pull. What I do want you to remember is you go through your full elbow extension, high elbow, early vertical forearm. So you get your forearm vertical as soon as you can, because now you're cupping all that water. And then you do the pull. So while this comes down, your forearm comes down, the big thing to keep in mind is that if you're ever swimming and you're watching and you see your whole arm going down, that's called an arm drop, and you don't want your arm to be dropping to the end of the pool. And what I tell people to really get a kind of a visual about this too is if you want the most power of your pull, it's kind of similar to if you go to the side of the pool in the deep end and you're going to push yourself out. Would you go right here in front of your body and push yourself out from here? Or would you have your arms extended and try to push straight down from here? So you're not going to have your arms extended and try to get out of the pool. You're going to go right here where you have the most amount of power to pull out of the pool. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, if you have any questions, the swimming is the most technical of the sports, and that's why you could spend so much time. And a lot of times, even when you know all of this, it's hard to put it into practice, and you even think you are doing it until you see yourself on video, and you're not. So a video is another great option to do. So we can move on to the pull segment. So we're going to go to the next slide for the pull segment. Again, this is where you find your power. And I love this picture because the picture of the guy right there that's swimming, he is in the vertical form, so he is still getting the most amount of amount of power from his pull because he's not dropping down. So you want to be thinking about not only anchoring that arm in the water and almost envisioning yourself pulling your body past that anchor, but you're going also to really feeling, getting a sense of your arm, not only getting that elbow extension at the front of the stroke, but after your pull at the end of the stroke. So it's a very common mistake to feel like you're pulling here, but then pull your arm out of the water to recover and go again, rather than getting this full end of your push. And you can get a whole lot of power from really fully extending. So the most important takeaways from the pull phase is to not drop your arm to the bottom of the pool, keep your elbow close in, and go to full elbow extension. Okay, so the final phase is the recovery phase. And basically this is any time that your arm is coming out of the water. It's after that full elbow extension, you lift your elbow up first. So you might see, or you might, if you're beginning, you might find that you're doing this, is kind of windmilling your arm. You'll see kids who are like learning how to swim, kind of windmilling their arms, swimming around, and that makes your whole body zigzag, that makes your head come up. So you really want to have your ear down on your shoulder, touching. Your elbow comes up. This lets your arm have a little bit of recovery on the way through, and it just comes right into your next entry. So your elbow is going to be the highest thing, and there's some drills that I'll talk about that help with that help you remind and get that feel of the high elbow recovery. So you have high elbow early vertical forearm on the pole, and you have a high elbow recovery. So a lot of times people will be talking about high elbows, but you might be talking about a different phase of the stroke. So there's always so much information to think about when you're swimming. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. So sometimes if somebody in the lane next to you says, oh, just to let you know you're crossing your arm over, maybe have that be your only goal. Who cares if you're windmilling a little bit? Try just to focus every lap on just not crossing over in front of your stroke. Or you might want to go the next workout and say, okay, for 2 laps, I'm going to focus on high elbow recovery, making sure my elbow is up high, really feeling that. And the next 2 laps, I am going to be focusing on really feeling my elbow extending back behind you, rather than thinking of 5 things all at once. So we're going to move on to the next slide so we can kind of move through here. Okay, some drills, and I'm going to show you some of these drills really quick. These are some of them, like really, there's a million drills, but these are some of the most basic drills. Fingertip drag drill. This is this is a great drill. This is a drill. Each drill that you do, you should know why, when you're doing a drill, know why you're doing it, because then you have that mental connection of what am I supposed to be taking away from this. So fingertip drill, when you finish your pull and you're at your full elbow extension back behind you, fingertip drill is you lift your elbow up, but rather than swimming normally like you would take a stroke here, you're not going to do that because it's a drill. So you lift your elbow and your fingertips skim the surface of the water as they come through. And as they skim the surface of the water, you just feel that gentleness of the water. I always tell people that I'm coaching in the pool to, once you get past your shoulder, to lift your arm up a little bit, so then you can also feel the next entry. And then you go to the next side. So then you go to the next side, same thing, full elbow extension, elbow up, fingertip drag. So that is the fingertip drag drill. The next drill is called catch up. So basically what you're doing here, this is another great drill. You'll hear about this if you're starting to read stuff about swimming. Basically, catch up drill is not how you would typically swim completely, but it's getting you there. Your arm that's entered out in front, you're gonna keep that arm there until the recovery arm comes up to it and it catches up to it. What I tell people that are doing to do catch up drill, when a recovery arm catches up to it, rather than tapping the hand on top of the other hand, you can even see it just in this video here, that I kind of had to pull this arm in front of me. So rather than on top, have your thumbs touch each other. So that way you're not promoting like a back and forth zigzag. So you catch up, you pull, recover, catch up. Pull, recover, catch up, okay? Single arm swimming is just exactly that. Going down the pool, swimming with your right arm, coming back, swimming with your left arm. So basically, this teaches you to really just become comfortable on one side, having one goggle in, one goggle out. It allows you to kind of get to that point where you can just isolate your rotation to one side, keeping your ear down. The more you lift your head up, your hips sink down, your legs sink down, and a classic heavy leg triathlete way of swimming is really with our bodies not as completely buoyant as we could be. So single arm swimming really just lets you continue to work on one side, and then there's always a side that's not your natural side. Everybody has a side that is harder for them to swim on. So you'll have that opportunity, and it might feel really terrible, and it will, and you keep working through it. Fist swim. I love this drill. This is the last one I'm going to go through right here. Fist swim. The purpose of this, and you can really feel this if you think of what's the purpose of this. You have your hands in fist, and the purpose of this, when you enter, it's the whole time your hand is in fist. You do your early vertical form, and now you have no hand to pull with. So you can really have that sensation of the water powerfully being pulled backward by your forearm, by all of this surface area. So that way you make sure if you are going to be pulling and your elbow kind of pulls before your forearm like this, it's just sliding through the water. It's not giving you any forward power, any forward momentum. So it really forces you to get that feeling of so much power going into that forearm as you pull. So those are 4 drills to give you a start. You can plug those into your swim workouts, and there's many, many more. They make swimming fun. So let's go on to the next slide. Okay, lane, Latin, lane etiquette. There will always be people who don't quite follow lane etiquette. So basic lane etiquette, you would think it would be easier because people drive cars and should know. But if you see somebody coming down the lane straight at you, don't go right at them because your heads will hit. It can be really dangerous. And this has happened to me many times when people don't get in and they don't let you know and you're just swimming on your side. So basically in the picture on the right of your screen, you can see there's a couple things going on there in that lane. There's people doing what's called circle swimming. And it looks like maybe there's a coach that's coaching the guy that's in the corner listening to his coach. But basically, like if they weren't circle swimming, he would need to stop and tap somebody and ask them, can I join in and can we circle swim? If there's only one person in the lane and they're staying on their side of the pool, just going down and back, you can just hop into the other side and you take your side. So you can do that. But if there's 2 people already doing that, when you enter in, you need to make sure both of those people know that now you're circle swimming. So there's much more about lane etiquette, but we'll keep it at that for now. Video your stroke. I can't say enough about how helpful it is to video your stroke. Swimming is my weakest event personally in triathlons. I've been swimming for over 20 years, and there will still be things that I could swear I'm not doing. And then I see a video, and I can't believe I am doing it. So it can be a family member. Video you with a cell phone on the side of the pool. Send it to a coach. I have people send me their videos, and I work with them that way. So it's helpful, and even if you don't use a coach to help you with that, have the power of you seeing your own body and what you actually are doing versus what it feels like is very good. Use tools to make it fun. I didn't even go through any of that today because there's limited time. Pull buoys, it's a great way to add tools in to use the pull buoy if you are beginning swimming. You can put the pull buoy at the top of your legs and it helps your legs be so much more buoyant so that it's easier to just get the feeling of continued swimming rather than stopping at the wall as often. Paddles, that works on arm strength, that works on helping your form with the pull, and fins definitely helps with getting your kick a little bit stronger, as well as doing some of the drills are so much easier to get a feel of if you have the fins on. Okay, another idea is to just kind of keep in mind to follow sets in the workouts in the times that you do go to the pool. If you go to the pool and you arrive there and you get to the pool deck and put your cap and goggles on and you have no clue what you're gonna do, your workout won't be you will be annoyed and you won't stay half as long as if you have a written plan. You can put it on an index card in a Ziploc right next to your water bottle. That is what you're planning on doing. How are you planning on doing 10-25 swimming, 10-50s kicking, or whatever your workout is, but have a workout that you're trying to do. Know what you're trying to do. A great book that's helpful is Total Immersion Swimming. A lot of triathletes specifically follow a lot of the total immersion techniques. Breathing. Really quick going over breathing because I know we're already a little bit at our time. So it is common in your first triathlon, in your 10th triathlon. I have been doing triathlons for over 20 years, and this has still happened to me. In different situations, you get kicked, somebody puts their hand on your head, it makes you panic, and you panic and you start breathing fast, which promotes more panic. So if you can really work on like a slow and relaxed breathing, or even getting yourself kind of worked up a little bit and then coming out of that away in the water, that you can find ease and come out of that, that's super helpful, as well as some mental preparation techniques. I have used this. Even after years of doing swims in open water, there will always be just one little thing. Somebody, pushes you, or it could just be you for no reason at all. You thought you had it all set, but you start to get a little bit anxious in your breath. So keep that in mind. It's not uncommon at all. So have some tools to really think about going into. I'm a yoga teacher, and I use that all the time in triathlons, not just in the swim section, but I definitely use it to come out of panic in a swim race. To really think about the exhales, getting a whole exhale, because the exhale is the calming. If you get too much carbon dioxide, it sends signals to your brain that there is a reason to panic. So then you're panicking, not just mentally, but physiologically as well. Strength for the swim. So that's important too. If you can get to the pool 2 times a week, but you really wish you could go more, but you can't kind of make the time for it, make sure you're getting in swim-specific strength, some upper body, some lat, some tricep work, core, hips, and that applies, throughout, all this swim, bike, run, all of the sports. There's strength for those specific sports, but it does help so much to incorporate that, so that you do have the strength. And I believe that is our last slide. We have the transition. Okay, keep it simple. So it can be very overwhelming if you're new to this. You think, how do I do that? What do I do? Get out of the pool? So don't keep it so simple in your head. Get out of the pool. And guess what? Anybody that's completing that 400-meter swim, you don't need to walk yourself back to the ladder. You can, but it takes more time, and it's still the same amount of energy to pull yourself versus to push yourself. Just push yourself out of that water, hop right up on the pool deck, get to your bike. All you have to do on your way there, goggles and cap off as you're going. If you're walking, do it. If you're running, take them off. When you get to your bike, all you have to do, helmet, buckle it, sunglasses on, and shoes on. If you want to put on other clothes and things like that, you can do that as well. Be careful. Put with shirts that are sticking on your. I was in a cold race one time where I thought, I gotta put on like a long sleeve thing. When your body's wet, you're like stuck in it. Your arm is stuck over your head. So keep it simple. You'll warm up on the bike. Helmet, glasses, shoes, go. And really, that's it. So don't make a big thing. You shouldn't have a whole lot down below your bike. It's just the essentials. Helmet, sunglasses, shoes, go. And thanks for being here. I know I went really quickly. I tried to get a lot of information, and I still went a little bit over my time. I apologize. Please contact me with questions. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Sharon, for presenting today, and thanks to all who joined. Please watch your inboxes, as we'll be sharing the replay within the next few days. Good night, everyone. Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you.